Hello, my Tauruses. It's Krishana from the Belladonna Curio, and I am here with your mid-month reading. This is going to be for February 15th through the March 15th. So I was meditating on your guys' energy, as I have been on every other sign as well. And the word that I got was stale water. So I kind of meditated on that a bit. And water is the representation of emotion or your intuitive nature. And I mean, you guys are earth signs, definitely, but on earth, obviously, there's bodies of water. And so you guys kind of, as being earth signs, you kind of encompass it all, in a way. And it is having this sort of like stale water energy or stale emotional energy, stale intuitive energy that can breed diseases, parasites, which don't necessarily mean parasites in doesn't necessarily mean like body parasites, although it could. This can also mean like a lot of people think that the term parasites really is indicative of like negative energies, negative emotions. It's the harbinger of like bad energies. And so having a sort of stale water, in your sphere is actually something that probably should be looked at. So I'm going to go ahead and pull some cards and we're going to look at it. Okay. So I'm going to pull, I think, 3 of these cards and 6 of my other cards. Okay, so let's pull 3 of these cards. Okay, so, all right. So we have the 6 of Spheres here. Okay, so this is telling me that something in your life has, something in your life that you've worked on has, is in process. It's kind of the seedlings of, things coming to fruition, but they're not there yet. And you've been working really hard on this, and you've probably been working on this whole thing for a really long time, and it's starting to make you feel rather jaded, actually. I have the 2 of Spheres here, and this is the Libra T deck, and so it's kind of starting to turn into one of those things where as you look on your foundation, as you look at what you've, as much as you've worked, as hard as you've worked, you're not really seeing the fruits of your labor. And that jaded feeling is that stale water that we were talking about. That sort of like, well, I've been working so hard and I've seen absolutely nothing. And I've noticed that, like, if that happens to you, it's time to switch up the energy. What I like to do when I start feeling that way is I like to do like gratitude work, and so I like to, like to wake up the next morning, after probably having like a really kind of depressive time, and I like to write down all the things that I'm grateful for. And I like to, also thank the universe or God or whoever you believe in, your higher self, if you will, your helping spirits. I like to, thank them for things to come, all the things that you're working on. I think I was reading a book recently, and in the book it said, I have to recall exactly what it said, but it said something to the effect of, to ask for what you want is to basically say you already don't have it, and everything that you want in your sphere is already there. And your will in manifesting that is you actually believing that it has already come to fruition. So the Queen of Cups comes, and it's kind of like it's kind of like the chill card. It's kind of like the be intuitive and be emotional, and and really kind of work with your elements of water. Because the elements of waters is kind of what's kind of sitting still here, and you don't want it to breed, you know, negativity in your life, more negativity in your life. It could also breed illness. And so, if part of that stale water is sort of harboring onto like bitterness, there are some studies that I've seen where they say that bitterness, can cause cancer, in the body. And so you don't want to hold on to these things. I apologize for the next door neighbor's dog barking. Okay, so I'm going to pull 6 more cards from my other deck, and we'll see what it says, okay? So what do we have to say to Taurus this month? The eclipse is happening pretty soon in Aquarius, so hopefully that should let up on the energies that seem to kind of gone stagnant. Hopefully things start to move. Because we're going to be in a new moon period. So hopefully things actually start to move. There isn't a full moon this month. And so usually and just as I'm talking about it, the moon pops out. Funny, right? So hopefully, things really start kind of moving, because I get it. I get it. It's so frustrating to feel like you're working really hard, but you also have to look at, and another thing that kind of came up is your own stubbornness. And so Tauruses have a tendency to be pretty stubborn. And it's like the way that you're doing things, maybe you're beating your head against a wall or beating a dead horse. In a sense of like, you guys need to work on your strategy. Maybe there's a different way to work whatever you've been trying to work on. So anyway, that's some more little advice. Okay. All right. Okay. So we have the moon card. And typically I see this as being kind of like shady elements, but there's kind of like a dark undercurrent of energy that you guys really kind of need to work with. And it actually, and in kind of addressing that dark current of energy, you guys actually might be able to work through it just fine. Whatever you've been working on, it looks like, the 10 of rods here, it's a big burden on you. And it's okay to let that burden go, or at least to lessen the burden by changing perspectives. Sometimes you don't necessarily need the situation to change. You just need your perspective to change on it. And then if all else fails and this is just getting too burdensome, kind of like for a minute, rest on it. Don't work so hard. There are there's other areas of your life that definitely need focus. So you have the 8 of Pentacles. And so, you don't want to focus on one thing and let everything else kind of fall. You don't want to focus on your job so hard that your relationships fall. You don't want to focus on your relationships so hard that your work and home life fall, because like work and home life are definitely really important to you guys. So, make sure you kind of like keep your focuses, but really try to like divvy up the energy. And again, if you work with your water elements, I don't know how spiritual some of you guys are, but you might want to try balancing your chakras. You might want to try getting into meditation, really focusing on that sort of intuitive self. I really like to kind of like light candles and to sit back and just like listen to Tibetan singing bowls. You can find them here on YouTube. And so just kind of it balances out your energy, and so that's kind of a good way of doing that. The Queen of Cups in this particular spread is reversed, and I feel like there is someone in your life who is really supportive, but they're also getting fed up with your shit. I mean, like, that's actually just what I see. It's like they are really supportive of you, but they're starting to get really fed up with, not necessarily with the stagnancy. This has nothing to do with the stagnancy. The stagnancy is what you feel, but they're getting tired of feeling like you can't find another perspective of it. Like you just like, again, the still water idea that you're just kind of letting these negative emotions, negative energy sort of take over. And sooner or later, that support system that you guys have, which is, really fantastic, is going to start getting like really tired. So, just kind of be careful of how much you're putting on other people. The Justice card is in reverse. So this is actually right under the Ten of Rods. The work that you're doing is imbalanced. It's like, honestly, it's kind of one of those things where you kind of have to, I feel like I'm repeating myself on some level, but you guys really have to learn how to step aside and let the universe do its work. And I feel like I'm hearing this again. Like, I'm feeling like I've said this before, maybe in my last reading, but you guys, but it's coming up again. It's that you guys need to step aside and, and let the universe do its work. The Strength card came up, you know, and so, really kind of tap into that thing that makes you feel stronger, that thing that makes you feel whole. If you guys have been working so hard, and this has actually come up with the Capricorn reading as well, so it's something with the earth signs right now, but like, if you guys have been working so hard that you guys haven't really taken the time to actually enjoy yourself, or you've even forgotten that there are things that you like to do, hobbies that you like to do, things that you really, really honestly enjoy because you guys have been working so hard on this one particular thing, and it's a solid kind of zoomed in focus, then maybe you guys need to kind of switch it up, So, but, find your power source. Maybe you guys need to get back into meditation. Maybe you need to start doing yoga. Maybe you need to start doing something that, when you get home, actually, instead of like going home and like working on whatever you're working on, maybe you guys need to actually like get home and then like have like a half hour or so that you do nothing, that you do absolutely nothing, and that your focus isn't so much on, you can't do something 24 hours a day. You only have so much energy, and so just tap into your power source. So let's see, bottom of the deck. Okay, so this is the 10 of Pentacles, and that's the inheritance card, And so it's kind of, it's rather, I don't want to say silly, but you have to, sometimes you're working so hard and you forget, like people who like work to get to heaven. And then there's some belief, like some religions that believe that like everything's predestined anyway. So it's like you're working so hard and you're wasting all this energy, but like all the things that you want are already there. And so, kind of starting to kind of like minimize some of the energy that you're expending so that you, again, allow the universe to kind of come in and do its work, because this is the inheritance card. So it's like you're working so hard and then someone dies and like leaves you a whole bunch of money and stuff like that. And you're like, oh shit, I didn't know that like I was just going to acquire, so much money and stuff like that. So anyway, that's kind of, I hope that's helpful. This is Krishana yet again, and I'll be back mid-March for your mid-March readings. And subscribe, share, like, comment, love me. Okay, bye.